Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte Kilpatrick, reporting for VaccineNation from the World Vaccine Congress in Barcelona. I'm delighted that today we're joined by Dr. Melanie Saville of PATH. Thank you for your time. To kick us off, would you kindly introduce yourself and your current role?
Sure, thank you. I'm Melanie Saville, so I'm Chief Scientific Officer at PATH, which is an international NGO whose mission is to advance health equity through partnership and innovation.
Fantastic, thank you. So you had a panel yesterday in the Biothreats and Disease X workshop addressing priority pathogens and response coordination. Can you tell us about some of the key concerns that emerged here?
Yes, so first of all, it was a very good workshop. I think it brought out, a lot of concerns, but also maybe some of the solutions. So I think the key elements that really came out was that perhaps the enormity of the task in terms of preparedness in a situation now where I think people, like to forget the pandemic. So I think it's important that we don't go into the cycle of panic and neglect. But I think there's been good work done in terms of identifying the types of priority pathogens that need to be worked on. But the other thing that really came out of the workshop was the need to have an end-to-end approach to really tackle at each stage. If you're developing a prototype vaccine for priority pathogens, what things do you need to take into account right from the beginning of research all the way through to how it might be used later on in a pandemic situation. And with that, really the theme is about cooperation, sharing data, learning from each other, actually learning as much from each other's failures as learning from each other's successes.
Yeah, absolutely. You also joined us for a keynote panel that explored strategies for making immunization equity a reality. And we know that PATH's mission highlights the importance of innovation and partnerships in this sort of ambition. Can you tell us about any specific efforts that you're pursuing?
Yes, certainly. So indeed, equity is at the heart of what PATH does. And what I presented at the panel today was really the importance of a product development partnership model. So in that model, it's bringing together philanthropic or government funding together with the innovators, with academia, with the private sector, and organizations like PATH who have equity, affordability at the heart of what we do. So, there are some great examples of some vaccines that have been developed through a product development partnership. Manafravac for Africa, malaria vaccines, that the normal sort of industry route just would not be able to deliver and deliver with that equity and affordability in mind. So PATH as an organization, we have that equity, affordability in mind in everything we do in terms of our partnerships, and we can provide the technical assistance to companies to really sort of hardwire that into the development.
Fantastic. So a theme that emerges from many of our conversations here at the Congress, but also wider public health discourse, is the importance of local development and production capacity in this sort of broader goal of equity. What are the biggest challenges here, and are there any immediate or apparent solutions?
So there's been a lot of work in thinking about how to have more localized manufacturing, and actually PATH has been quite a supporter of that. And just one example of that is PATH, together with CHAI, supported Africa CDC to really do the landscaping of, what is already out there, what are people's aspirations in terms of local manufacturing. And we got some very interesting insights as to how to move forward. In particular, they're hoping that there might be 8 vaccines by 2030 manufactured in Africa. One of the things we know, though, if all of the initiatives go ahead, there will actually be twice the capacity needed for form, fill, finish if everything were to go ahead by 2030. So a word of warning there that we don't want to overdo it and set ourselves up to fail. we need to pay more attention on drug substance, really developing the capabilities in these countries for really making the raw material, the product, not just filling it and finishing it. So that is behind where things should be. The tech transfer agreements that should be in place are not really all in place for everybody's aspirations. So it gives us all a view of, where should we perhaps focus our energy and our attention as that continues to build. Again, for me, it's always with access in mind and producing vaccines that are affordable.
Absolutely. And that's certainly central to a lot of the discussions hopefully happening here.
Yeah.
We're thrilled that you've joined us. Would you share what you're hoping to achieve, or when you leave, what do you hope your experience will have been?
So I've been to, vaccine congresses many times before, and I think it's always offers an opportunity to bring everybody together in the ecosystem around vaccines, from the academia through to the industry, the non-profits like us, government, philanthropic organizations. So I think there's some great debates that will help us move forward. We see some new innovations from the innovators, and it's a fantastic opportunity to network and develop new ideas.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time, and we hope you have a really productive time with us this week.
Thank you.